Hey, welcome back to Planet Clue. I see you've noticed my aspect ratio rectangle. Well, that's because today we're talking about TikTok. I challenged myself to make a TikTok every single day of January with 3 very specific goals in mind. One was to induce my creativity by releasing a video every day. Even if the video is small in scope, it doesn't matter. The thing that's important is giving myself the opportunity to make and release something very often as opposed to the several months it usually takes me to release a video. My second goal was to see if I could grow a TikTok account organically without connecting it back to my existing YouTube channel. I wanted to prove it to myself that my YouTube success wasn't just a fluke and that I could do it all again if I wanted to. So I never told my YouTube audience that I started making TikToks. And third was to clear my backlog of items that are interesting, but I couldn't get a 10-minute YouTube video out of. I'm grateful to say that this project was a success in every possible regard. All the goals I set for myself are met and exceeded. I got more views on TikTok in 1 month than I've gotten on YouTube in years. I learned a lot about myself as an artist from this experience. I learned a lot about what people want from me, and I want to share with you what I learned. So think of this video as a glorified TikTok compilation, right? You'll get to see all the videos I made that I'm really proud of, and you get to hear additional context occasionally. So here's how I went viral on TikTok with cool Y2k items. So on TikTok, I started a new show called Shelf Shorts, where I pull interesting items off of my shelf and show them to you.
Hi there, welcome to Shelf Shorts, where I pull interesting things off of my shelf and show them to you.
There you go. I made 31 Shelf Shorts videos, 1 for every day in January, and we're gonna go through them. So here's Shelf Shorts number 1.
Hi there, welcome to Shelf Shorts, where I pull things off of my shelf that are interesting and show them to you. Today I'm going to be looking at Parappa the Rapper items. This is Parappa the Rapper 1 for PlayStation 1, the Japanese version. It comes with this gigantic poster. It's super cool and has lots of beautiful, beautiful artwork on it. Truly, the world would not be the same without Rodney Greenblatt in it. He is a huge inspiration to me. Anyway, yeah, let's fold that up carefully and look at the Japanese spine cover. There it is. And then we have an ad for lots of merch that Rodney made. It looks awesome. I really want those shirts. And there's the disc. I absolutely love the presentation. And now here's the back with all the gameplay screenshots. Now we're going to look at the sequel to Parappa the Rapper, also the best Parappa game that exists, Jammer Lammy. This game focuses on another character in the Parappa universe named Lammy Lamb. She's the guitarist for a band called Milk Can. This game is very hard, but very, very good. I highly recommend it. And here's the Japanese version of Parappa the Rapper 2 for PlayStation 2. Although this game is very funny and has some good multiplayer, it is unfortunately the worst Parappa game. It diverged a lot from Rodney's vision, and he doesn't consider it to be part of the main series. Being the worst Parappa game is still a pretty high honor, and this game is still plenty enjoyable. And here's a Parappa the Rapper plush. I randomly found this at Best Buy, and it was so cute that I had to bring it home. And here are some Parappa the Rapper keychains made to promote the first game for PlayStation 1. It is very yellowed. I'm pretty sure the figures aren't yellowed, but the plastic that's covering them definitely is. And here's my Parappa shirt that I wear all the time. It's in this beautiful mustard yellow color. I don't know where it came from. It was a gift. I have one of these Totaku Parappa figurines somewhere, but I looked everywhere and I can't find it. Thank you for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you in the next one.
So Shelf Shorts number 1 I made using the TikTok mobile editor, the one that's built into the app. You know, I gave it a fair swing. I did the filming, editing, and voiceover all on my smartphone. It wasn't really the thing itself that was cool as much as it was really cool to see how accessible video editing is to the average person now. But overall, I wasn't happy with the audio quality, and it took me a really long time to do, so whatever. Anyway, in Shelf Shorts 2, I edited the video on my computer like I normally would, and did the voiceover with my usual microphone instead, which sounded a lot nicer.
Hi there, welcome to Shelf Shorts, where I pull interesting things off of my shelf and show them to you. Today we're going to be taking a look at some Team Fortress 2 items. This is a 2007 retail copy of the game, which is completely outdated and doesn't work anymore. Downloading the game from the internet would have taken a long time back in 2007, so it was nice to have the option to install it off of a disc. And here's a figurine of the Scout. I left it in the box because it's one of those things where the box is kind of cooler than the thing itself. Like, I love that it has the plastic hanger on top, implying that it was sold in a store at one point. It's a really cool display piece. I absolutely love this thing. And next up we have a Prima, I don't know which it is, official guide for the Orange Box. As much as I love Half-Life 2 and Portal, I got this book because of the TF2 in it. It's so weird seeing print media try to capture TF2 because it's a game that's constantly in flux, so all of this information became outdated like immediately. Case in point, here's another book doing the exact same thing. I got this one because it has Putis on the cover, and I just couldn't help myself. I started playing this game when I was 12 years old. I'm almost 25 now, and I still play it. My TF2 phase never ended, and I never want it to. This game is truly a timeless masterpiece. Thanks for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you next time.
So because my TikTok account had pretty much no one looking at it, these shorts started off being very self-indulgent. I felt free to talk about stuff that I really loved, when people usually wouldn't care if I talked about it on my YouTube channel. Like if I made a TF2 video on my YouTube channel, it probably wouldn't do well. I didn't anticipate that the kids on TikTok would care about TF2 either. But this short ended up getting 25,000 views overnight, and that gave me a pretty good indicator as to how this whole TikTok thing was gonna go, so I kept on trucking.
Hey there, welcome to Shelf Shorts. Today we're looking at some Taco Bell items. Not sponsored, I just really like Taco Bell. You can tell because most people don't own one Taco Bell shirt, let alone 3. This Baja Blast shirt is my favorite. It's actually employee exclusive, and I got it from working there. Also from being an employee, I got this hat and a bunch of pins. Mouth sauce, chalupa, Baja Blast, and then you've got the Crunchwrap Supreme, Taco Supreme, and a 5-layer burrito. All right, let's get these shirts out of here and take a look at the Fiery Doritos Locos Tacos retail sign. Fiery was the best Doritos Locos Taco they ever made, and I will never forgive them for getting rid of it. All right, it's time for us to go back to 1997 with Yo Quiero Taco Bell. There was this huge ad campaign focused around this chihuahua. This thing is actually a plastic coin purse. You stick your coins in there, and that way you don't lose them. They also used to do toys of Yo Quiero Taco Bell. Unfortunately, I had to get the gloves out for this one because, ooh, yikes. Look at that thing! Oh my god! Let's just surgically remove the ghost of Smarty's past and get this thing out of there. This figurine is very silly. You press a button and he opens his little mouth. But yeah, I like this thing. It's really cute. But we got even more. We have this one here. Thankfully, this one doesn't have any Smarties packaged into it, so this one's pretty safe. So let's pull that thing out of there. This one is just a figurine. It doesn't have any special features or anything, but it's really cute. I love the sculpt on this one. I have some dupes that I will leave in the packaging. Anyway, yeah, look at this. Taco Bell talking chihuahua. He says, "You are getting hungry, very hungry." Let's open it up and take a look at it. It definitely looks like it's been in a bag for over 20 years. I wonder if this would be recognizable as a Taco Bell thing if you were to remove all of the Taco Bell branding from it, or if people would just be like, what's this dog plush? This thing is from 1997. Of course the batteries are dead. I've never performed surgery on a chihuahua before, but who am I to pass up the opportunity? Yep, the talk box totally doesn't work, so let's open it up and take a look at it. Unfortunately, the batteries are so corroded that they've fused together and ruined all the circuitry. Unfortunately, this doggy will never talk again. Thanks for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you in the next one.
So I'm making these videos entirely unscripted, which is a privilege I'm not used to having. I don't often work with videos that are so short that I can just kind of work at it linearly until it's done. But of course, that does lead to some mistakes. I said, unfortunately, twice in a row.
Unfortunately, the batteries. Unfortunately, this doggy.
I didn't mean to. I don't know if anyone even noticed, but I noticed. Anyway. On to the next one.
Hi there, welcome to Shelf Shorts, where I pull interesting things off of my shelf and show them to you. Today we're going to be looking at Homestar Runner items. If you need a brief introduction to Homestar, check my profile for exactly that. Otherwise, this is the Fangamer Talkin' Strong Bad plush. He's posable and he can say 15 different phrases. Someday I would love to get a Kick the Cheat plush, but it's very expensive. I also have the entire first series of figurines. Here they are. We've got Homestar Runner himself, we've got Strong Bad, Strong Sad, Strong Mad, the Cheat, Pom Pom, Bubs, Marzipan, and Coach Z. Every time I have guests over and they go to the restroom, they have to look at my Homestar Runner shower curtain. Easiest purchasing decision of my entire life. Oh yeah, I can't forget about my very real no loafing sign that's in my office right now. So now on to the media. This is my childhood copy of StrongBadEmail.exe, the first 100 Strong Bad emails. You can tell it was very well loved. The cardboard is very frayed. They put so much effort into the presentation. They made like unique art for every disc and everything. It's so cool. I never ended up getting the other half of the first 200. I only had the first 100, but I still got a lot of use out of this DVD collection. I used to bring it to like slumber parties as a kid, put it on the TV for everyone to watch. This one came out more recently. This is Everything Else Volumes 1 through 3. This is a re-release that came out in 2021. It's a collection of everything else on the website aside from just Strong Bad emails. Easily the best way to watch Teen Girl Squad. And this is a collector's edition copy of Strong Bad School Game for attractive people. Any Homestar Runner fan would tell you that these games are a masterpiece. The Brothers Chaps love doing these fake handwritten labels. It's a really cool aesthetic. Obviously, there's no source code on there. And here is the 2020 re-release of Strong Bad Emails 1 through 200. It doesn't have quite as much personality as the originals, but it still serves its purpose. My Homestar DVD collection would be complete, but I'm missing one that's really rare. It's the Spemail 50 Greatest Hits DVD. All of these Homestar DVDs are now discontinued, unfortunately. They said they were going to do Blu-ray. If they do Blu-ray, I will buy them instantly. Anyway, so here's the last thing I have to show you. It is Strong Bad Sings and Other Type Hits. It's a CD that they made a while back. It's got a limousine sticker, and hey, look, there's the handwritten label thing again. They love their fake handwritten labels, don't they? Man, 2003 really was a long time ago. Thank you for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you in the next one.
So you can tell at this point that I'm going about making these TikToks in a very YouTuber-y way. It's very personal and calm, and I talk about lots of things in one video. And it just didn't speak to TikTok's user base, and it performed very poorly as a result. Obviously at this point I didn't care because I just wanted an excuse to talk about Homestar Runner even if no one watched. But as time goes on, you can see that these videos become more experimental. I shift my tone to see what will actually resonate with TikTok's user base.
Hey there, welcome back to Shelf Shorts. Today we're gonna be looking at my vinyl record collection. Vib Ribbon is going through a bit of a cult resurgence right now, so here's my Vib Ribbon vinyl. This soundtrack is nothing short of a masterpiece, and this vinyl even includes some songs that were previously unreleased. Every single time I listen to Rainbow, I cry uncontrollably. And next up we have the Hypnospace Outlaw vinyl. The way that Hypnospace manages to capture an abstraction of what 90s internet was like is so masterfully done that it almost feels like stepping into a time machine. For a soundtrack as nostalgic and culty as this one, it just belongs on vinyl. And next up we've got Mother 2, also known as Earthbound in the West. You can start to see that my vinyl collection is painting a picture of the kind of person I am and the niche things that I love. If I had to summarize Mother 2, I would phrase it as believable characters in a very normal world with bizarre sci-fi happenings gradually ramping up and getting more insane. The first disc is gold and the second disc is silver. It is such a nice touch. And here's the soundtrack for Gimmick, the NES game in which the soundtrack should have been impossible, but they put an extended sound chip inside of the NES cartridge for the game, just to prove how capable the NES was even when the Super Nintendo was already out. Absolute Chad game, just like this one, Friday Night Funkin'. They did a Kickstarter a long time ago, and one of the rewards for backing it was to get this vinyl soundtrack, and so I have it. Here it is. I can't think of anything that represents the spirit of Newgrounds better than FNF. I don't think I would be where I am as an artist today if it hadn't been for the influence of Newgrounds. For better or for worse, it really felt like anyone could truly make anything, and that unfiltered nature made it feel within reach for me to make something and put it out there for people to see. So yeah, shoutouts to FNF and Newgrounds. I'm looking forward to the full game. So these next few vinyls that I have aren't very interesting, so I'm just gonna do a bit of a lightning round. Back to the Future, Monsters Inc., Rickroll, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Pac-Man. I already made like a 30-minute video on YouTube about those ones. If you want to know about those, just watch that. Bugs Bunny, Ours Revenge, Ronald McDonald, Space Jam, and Furries. Thanks for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you in the next one.
So at this point in time, I'm using my computer to edit the video and do the VO. I would render it out and then copy it to my phone, and then I used the TikTok app to generate the captions, and then I would upload it. But with this one, I started making my own captions, which are a lot contrastier and more on brand. So TikTok has this thing where you can make a video that's a reply to a comment. So I decided to feature someone being nice in my comments with this next video.
Hey, welcome back to Shelf Shorts. So this nice commenter referenced an iDog video that I made on YouTube about 3 years ago. So because that video went super viral and people on TikTok have been so awesome, I'm gonna show you guys my iDog stuff. So this is the 2005 Hasbro iDog, the one that was the most common in America. Aside from just a little bit of yellowing on the ears, it's held up excellently. And here's the Japanese Sega Toys iDog, which actually predates the American iDog. This one has held up even better. There's like no yellowing anywhere on this thing. It looks pristine. For those that saw my original iDog video, you know this one's my favorite. And here's the iDog Pup. It's super tiny and super cute. I love this thing. The ears and the sides of its head are a little bit golden, a little yellow. Oh my god, he's missing his tail. No, the iDog Pup is missing his tail. I did try to find it immediately. I went looking for its tail. I couldn't find it. I'm so sorry, iDog Pup. I lost your tail. Oh well, you know. Here's the iDog Amped. When I got this one, it was really yellowed already, so honestly, this just looks exactly like how I remember it looking. It was very sunburnt yellow. It was almost certainly left in a windowsill for like a year, and that was enough to tint it harshly gold. Anyway, here's the iDog Dance, the chunkiest iDog they ever made. A little bit of golden on the back, a little gold on the ears, but yeah, not so bad. I really do wonder if like retro brighting these things would do anything, or if it's too new. Retro brighting only works on specific kinds of old plastic. 2005 might be a little late for that. It would definitely be nice to have the option to make these things shiny and white and pretty again. You guys like Fruitiger Arrow? Here's the iFish. The iFish is easily the funniest of the iDog family because look, it's wiggly. Also, when you power it on and it's listening to music, it like spins really fast and tangles itself up in its own cable. It's very funny. Look, it's the iDog clip, the smallest iDog ever made. I do actually wonder like how many cosplayers and modern scene kids I convinced to buy one of these just to add it to their outfit. I hope it's a non-zero amount. And here's a Halloween Burger King iCat in this weird glow stick yellow color. This one used to light up, but the battery is dead and it's not replaceable. My iDog collection used to be much larger than this, but I have since given away a bunch of them to friends and family. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all of the love you guys have been giving me on TikTok. It really, really means the world. I've been uploading every day, so hit that follow button so I can see you again on your For You page.
So this was around the time when I discovered that people in the TikTok community are really nice. Like, comments in general are really kind and funny. I mean, at least that's the energy that people were throwing at me, and I wanted to bounce it back. I don't often get to directly respond to comments, let alone with a video, so I took the opportunity and I don't regret it. Anyway, the next shelf short is about Quake.
Hey there, welcome back to Shelf Shorts. Today we're going to be looking at some Quake items. For those unaware, Quake released in 1996 as the first 3D first-person shooter. It was hugely influential in the gaming industry and is widely considered to be one of the best video games ever made. What you're looking at right now is a box set from 2002 called the Ultimate Quake box set. Not only does it include Quake 1, but it has Quake 2 and Quake 3 Arena as well. Even though Quake is nearly 30 years old, the influence of it on the gaming industry is still felt to this day. We are in the midst of a boomer shooter renaissance. So many games are wearing their influence from Quake on their sleeve. Here's a strategy guide for Quake 1. These guidebooks make for excellent display pieces. I love them. I love seeing the effort they put into the map diagrams. It's really amazing. Near the end of the book, they describe how multiplayer networking works and like how to set it up on Windows 95. Now every kid on Earth knows how to port forward a Minecraft server. Well, I say that, but I'm getting old. I don't know what kids are educated on nowadays. Yeah, this book rocks. It's totally sick. And here's a Prima guide for Quake 3 Arena, my favorite Quake game. The other day I wasn't sure if it was Prima or Prima. It is Prima. This one's in full color and has so many screenshots and beautiful imagery. Anyway, yeah, that's a great book for a great game. I probably should have showed this in the TF2 TikTok, but I forgot. So here it is right now. It's my big box Half-Life 2, another one of the greatest video games of all time. Half-Life 2 still looks and feels amazing. The only complaint that I could possibly have about it is that it's pretty linear. You're usually going from point A to point B, and that is the video game. Counter-Strike Source, how I love thee. Counter-Strike Source is the reason I built my first gaming PC. Let's take a look at the contents. We have this quick reference card for how to install the game, and here's the controls on the back. Look at this card! Okay, so this is telling you about a bug that if you don't select Counter-Strike Source, the installation might fail. I love that they had all the discs produced, and then they found that error and they couldn't fix it, so they just put in a little card saying, hey, here's how you avoid that bug, alright? Yeah, here are all the discs. They're completely useless now because all these discs do is install Steam and then cache files that Steam can use. Internet speeds are fast enough now that you just don't need this at all. Thanks for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you in the next one.
So with this next TikTok, I was trying to make something quick and snappy in an active attempt to make something more viral. Take a look.
Gaming devices that are completely impractical to use because they're so tiny. Starting off with the Pocket Sprite, which touts itself as the smallest functional Game Boy ever made. They set out to make a Game Boy so small that it takes away all potential enjoyment you could have had from playing Game Boy. The gimmick of it being tiny stops being fun as soon as you get a hand cramp, but living life on the cutting edge means you have to sacrifice some practicality. The Pocket Sprite is indeed a technical marvel that will sit on my shelf gathering dust for another 4 years. And here's the Game Gear Micro, which is equally unfun to use. It's almost like retro collectors will buy anything. They'll sell you on a concept that's really cool but completely impractical, and then dorks like me will buy them and then stick them on a shelf and never use them. I'm not trying to be a cynic. I love collectibles and things like this. All I'm saying is to keep your collector shelves interesting and practical. Don't just stuff it with gaming devices that are completely impractical to use because they're so tiny. Starting off with the Pocket.
So TikTok videos, they loop, right? And you can chain your last sentence into the first. It's a little gimmick I've seen people do before, and I wanted to give it a try. Anyway, this video did not go viral. In fact, it vastly underperformed, and I'm not 100% sure why. Maybe it's because I was kind of mean to the devices, but I was trying to ham it up and be dramatic. I thought that's what people would like. So I tried again to make something short and viral and snappy, so here you go.
This innocuous $2 DS game holds a dark secret. When you load up this copy of The Biggest Loser on a DSi, it will dump a string that can be used to decrypt the NAND and install pirated games onto your DSi. Same goes for this innocuous 3DS game, Freaky Forms CD-ROMs Deluxe. When you boot up the game and load a specific QR code, your 3DS is now hacked and you can load Homebrew and pirate as many 3DS games as you could possibly desire. Not that I would ever pirate Nintendo games or anything, that would be stupid.
So this video got double the views of the previous one, but it still didn't get far. I think because I had to vastly oversimplify in order to even talk about this topic, I don't know, these experiments didn't work. So I went back to my old formula of self-indulgently talking about things I loved.
Today we're looking at some items from the game series Postal. Here's a Postal Dude plush. He can say a bunch of different phrases when you squeeze him. Listen, hear him speak. Amazing. And next up we have the Postal documentary book. It was signed by Vince and Mike, but unfortunately one of the signatures has faded. I read the first half of this book like a year ago and I still have not finished it. And here's Postal XX, the 20th anniversary edition box set. As soon as you open it, you're greeted by the 9 million cards that I have from Vince and Mike. Every time you buy something from the Running with Scissors online store, they include those cards, and so I just have a bunch of them. Here's a sealed keychain that I'm tempted to unseal and use. Here's a 20th anniversary collector's towel and a Running with Scissors pop socket. I love pop sockets. Whenever you're about to check out in the Running with Scissors online store, they ask if you want to throw in some stickers to your order. They don't cost very much, so I did that, and now I have what I believe to be a complete collection of stickers, or at least was a complete collection of stickers at the time. I know that Postal's subversiveness didn't age the best, but honestly I'm not really in it for the political incorrectness. It gives the game its identity and its unique flair, but I think where Postal really shines is in its setting and its gunplay. And those attributes haven't aged a day, and that's why Postal 2 is still considered to be such a masterpiece. And here we've got an art book with lots of beautiful, beautiful artwork. I definitely think that satire is very important to the Postal formula. I think them moving in a more comedic direction with it, I think gave it so much more iconic of a presentation. Like Postal 1 was played pretty straight, and Postal 2 was played more comedically. It was more exaggerated, almost cartoony. I think pretty much everyone agrees that that's when Postal is at its best. And here's the disc case that has the actual games on it. And here's the card that has the Steam keys on it. They included a separate Postal 3 key so you didn't have to redeem it. And here's the disc, which looks totally sick. I sincerely think that Postal 2 and Postal 2 Paradise Lost are must-play video games, especially if you like boomer shooters. Thanks so much for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you in the next one.
Every single TikTok I had made at this point featured 3, 4, sometimes 6 items in a row. But what I learned is people on TikTok don't want a story in 5 parts. They want a story in 1 part. So in that Postal video, I'm sure most people watched the first item, and as soon as I brought out the second one, they're already gone. They've already swiped it away. So I tried something new. I just showed 1 item, and that was it. So take a look.
Hey look, it's a boring old phone case. Just kidding. It has a freaking Game Boy on the back of it. You don't see that every day. I found this at a thrift store for $5 and it was just interesting enough that I had to take it home. But it wouldn't turn on and my TikTok was ruined. It was fully charged, so I just started prying it open to see what was wrong. And all of a sudden it sprung back to life right before my eyes. I don't know what I did to fix it, but it's alive now and you can play pirated NES games to your heart's content. So if I cram my smartphone into this case, you're telling me I can be at the bus stop, flip my phone over and have access to a million different 40-year-old video games? For $5, sign me up. Although I couldn't find what smartphone fits in this case. I only have one iPhone and it didn't fit, so I don't know what this is for. Comment below if you recognize this phone case shape. Let me know if you know what smartphone fits in it. Thanks for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you next time.
So this video was my first major success on TikTok. It reached 450,000 views overnight and now it has almost 800,000. That's because it focused on one interesting item, it was short, and I posed a question that people really wanted to answer. There are hundreds and hundreds of comments of people trying to guess what phone fits in the case, and no one can agree, so I still don't know the answer to the question. I don't know. So I tried to recreate what made that TikTok a success and tried to do another one like it.
What is this thing? It looks like a siren. If found, return for reward. Well, I hope they're not too upset that somebody put this in the thrift store for $6. It appears to have a speaker on the bottom that's covered in like a white powder. I was terrified to plug this thing in. I really thought I was gonna plug it in and it was gonna go boo and like scare the hell out of all my neighbors. So I covered my ears, turned it on, and thankfully it didn't make any sound at all. It's just, it's just like a spinning party light. Look at it. I love this thing. It's so funny. Sorry, Boomerang IT, you can keep your reward because I'm never returning this.
So I started the video being like, what is this thing? It looks like a siren. And that got people so angry in the comments. Like, it's not a siren. It says on the bottom, it's a party light. You're stupid for not knowing what it is. I had to film and edit the video. I know it's a party light. Why are there so many people just like, dude, how does he not know what it is? I just thought posing a question at the beginning would make the conclusion more interesting. And the funny thing is, I was right, like this video performed great. It got like 400,000 views. This new format was doing so well that I gave it another shot with my next one.
What's this weird transparent thing? Oh, it's a prison TV. The reason it's transparent is so that prisoners can't hide contraband inside of it. It would cost prisoners about 120 bucks to get one of these behind bars. I mean, for that price, that's not terrible. The viewing angles aren't the best because it's a very cheap LCD. You have to look at it dead on or else the colors will be very washed out or very dim. Viewing angles aside, it doesn't look so bad. It's 1080p, it's nice and crisp. It certainly does more than just get the job done. I don't really have a practical purpose for a monitor like this. I just saw it and I thought it was kind of cool, so I grabbed it. Like, can you blame me? Look how cool the transparency is. It's so neat. I'm sure Jay Bailey has been out of jail for a long time now, but I hope you're doing all right. I'm wishing you nothing but the best.
So this video did really well, really well. It got around 750K in views. It did well for the same reasons as the prior two. And now for the worst TikTok I've ever made. Here it is.
Back in 2009, I remember that I really wanted this toy. It's basically Simon, but with more hand waving.
Level 1, ready? Follow this. Nice.
Back when Loopz was on TV and in toy stores, I remember going to a friend's house to play with their Loopz, only to discover that this is a very boring toy. It's not interesting, it's not engaging, and you run out of stuff to do after literally 5 minutes. How many of you out there still have a Loopz that's gathering dust in your basement? This one happened to be rotting at a Goodwill nearby. The battery compartment has so much corrosion damage that I'm surprised this thing still works. Thanks for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you in the next one.
I thought it would be cool to open the video with the sound effect of the device turning on, but that was heavily banking on people recognizing the device or the sound, which totally didn't work. I'm sure people watched the first 2 seconds of the video and didn't understand what was happening and then swiped away. It also didn't help that the conclusion of the video was built on how uninteresting the toy is, so it's not a surprise that this is my worst performing TikTok ever.
Old karaoke machines have these fascinating monochrome displays on them, which would generally be used to show the lyrics to the song you were singing. But it has composite inputs on the back, so you can just plug your video games into it. But yeah, this thing is tiny. It is 5 inches, easily the smallest CRT I have ever seen. The benefit to playing video games on a karaoke machine like this is that the audio sounds really good. If I had one of these when I was a kid, it would have been my favorite gadget in the world. Having something like this to plug my Nintendo 64 into would have been a game changer for me. I also have this other karaoke machine made by Memorex. The contrast is very weak, so you can't even see what's happening on camera. It just looks completely white. Thankfully, it has this contrast pot on the back that you can adjust to get the picture to come in. Sorry for the choppy footage in this video. Recording CRTs is very hard. Thanks for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you in the next one.
So I thought this one was gonna pop off because it had a 100 gex reference in there, and also because they're such unique gadgets, but I think since I put a retro gaming spin on it, that might have alienated people. I don't know. I mean, it did okay, but I wanted this one to perform better. When you're uploading every day, you can just kind of take an L occasionally and it's fine.
Plants vs. Zombies is one of the greatest video games of all time. With a core design so appealing to such a large audience, it's no surprise it became such a cultural phenomenon. Unfortunately, it marks the end of the casual gaming generation, but at least it went out with a bang. And here's a Plants vs. Zombies guidebook, although it's more like a lore book. These sorts of things are always worth looking at just because they have so much beautiful original artwork in them. It's always cool to see multimedia content like this for video games. I also have some bootleg plushes. Here's the pea shooter. I would have bought real plushes if they existed. Here's the sunflower, who sings the iconic song. Here's a walnut. He's a very happy boy. And here's the sun shroom, who is looking exceptionally uwu today. I don't care if EA ruined the PvZ franchise. I will love it forever.
So for this one, you can see that I went back to my old formula and it performed about average at the time. But this one is particularly interesting because a day after I posted this video, Plants vs. Zombies 3 was announced. I managed to spawn Plants vs. Zombies news after years of drought just with my TikTok. If I have this power, then TF2 update. Can we have a TF2 update? Team Fortress 2 update, please. All right, so take a look at this next one. I really like this next one.
I bet you've never heard of this Nintendo gadget. It's a pocket Pikachu. The buttons on this one didn't seem to work, so I had to open it up. Thankfully, the only issue was that the button membranes needed to be cleaned. That's 25 years of dirt right there. And now the buttons work great. Now, it should be no surprise that the pocket Pikachu is a Pikachu virtual pet, and he has lots of silly, funny animations. But the thing that differentiates the pocket Pikachu from, say, a Tamagotchi is that the pocket Pikachu counts how many steps you've taken. When you walk, you generate watts that you can give to Pikachu. So I shook the device splice around a little bit and generated a few watts, and I gave them to him. He seemed a little disappointed, probably because I only gave him 4 of them. So I did what I do best and played some dance games while wearing the Pocket Pikachu. So I played Infection, Half Double 9, and Pump It Up Pro 2, and I got a full combo. So hopefully that will be good enough for the Pocket Pikachu that I was wearing the entire time. As it turns out, no, he was equally disappointed. This Pocket Pikachu is a greedy little thing. I assume the thing wants me to like walk around for an entire day and then feed him the watts. I also have the Pocket Pikachu Color, and you're never gonna believe what's different about this one. It's really cool to see one of these old school LCD screens with color, but it looks so bad. They use some polarizing trickery in order to get the colors to work, but getting it at the exact right angle to make it look good on camera is so difficult. And it still somehow looks better on camera than it does to the naked eye. Anyway, so I gave this Color Pikachu 16 watts, and I just bored him. Well, I can tell when I'm not wanted. Thanks for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you guys in the next one real soon.
I really thought this one would do well, but I fell into the same old pitfall I always fall into because I kept changing topics and talking about more than one thing. My YouTuber instinct is to say, oh, if I pop it open and clean it on camera, it'll make the video more interesting, right? And in my opinion, it did, but because the topic strayed, I think people just started leaving midway through, and then I started talking about another Pocket Pikachu, so even more people probably started leaving. Like, those kind of shifts are very okay, almost anticipated in a 10-minute YouTube video, unacceptable for a 1-minute TikTok. If I could do it all again, I would just skip the whole part of me cleaning it, skip the Color Pocket Pikachu, and condense it down to just talk about the main unit, how it works, feeding him a lot of watts after walking with it for a whole day, but because I was making them every day, I just didn't have time. So anyway, that's what came out of it. I'm still proud of it. I think it's a really cool video. I think it works better on YouTube than it does on TikTok. So I don't know. Next up is the Guitar Hero LCD game.
This is the Guitar Hero LCD game from 2007. As you can hear, it looks and sounds amazing. With 3 songs and 3 difficulty levels for each song, it offers an incredibly high quality gaming experience. You can just throw your Nintendo Wii directly in the bin. You don't need it anymore. You have the perfect Guitar Hero experience right here, right in front of you. Highly recommended.
So this is around the time where I was trying to do more funny stuff. I thought the idea of yelling over the loud guitar noises was funny, so I played into it. It did okay. It doubled the views of the Pocket Pikachu one, but I take the comedic tone even further with the next one, not because this was such a rousing success, but just because I found it really fun to make.
You guys like Windows 95? Well, have I got some Windows 95 for you today. Doesn't get any more Windows 95-ier than this. It's got Windows 95 written all over the dang thing. In fact, of all of the things I could show you that have the potential to be Windows 95, this is quite literally the Windows 95-iest. A lot of you have been asking for me to show Windows 95 on my TikTok, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of people in the comments like, that's not Windows 95 enough. You know, I put so much time into trying to make my videos as Windows 95 as possible, and it's never good enough for you. I get 40,000 emails on my Gmail account every single day from people asking me to make my content more Windows 95. I've been punched in the face by Windows 95 enthusiasts 95 different times, to the point that I'm running out of faces for them to punch. Admittedly, I don't even like Windows 95 all that much. In fact, I'm just doing it because people won't leave me alone. I'm putting this video out there to let people know how I really feel. This has to stop. Stop asking me about Windows 95. Windows 98 is already out. I think it came out like 98 days ago. And Windows 2000 came out 2,000 years before that. So yeah, get with the times, people. Windows 95 is not even that cool. Guys, the Microsoft Bob fandom is dying. Where are all the Bob heads at?
So I realized after I filmed the video that no one is interested enough in a boxed copy of Windows 95 to watch an entire TikTok about it. So I made that the joke, and I just kept getting more and more insane and surreal as it went. This video didn't perform beautifully, but I loved coming up with the weird humor so much that I kept going in that direction.
What is this thing? Huh? Is this like a reference to something? Huh? 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 All I need to know is, can it be killed? I think I am killing it. Oh, no, never mind, it's fine. Oh well, I'll defeat you in battle later. Who's this other guy? Get him out of here. It's you again! Kind of embarrassing, but I heard this guy almost got killed earlier. You know, I'd be a lot more intimidated by this guy if he had some small cups. Oh my god. I'm gonna need some backup. These are the smallest cups I've ever seen. Huh? 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 One of the small cups literally has a picture of me on it. Well, these are unprecedented circumstances. If he's got small cups, what else does he have? I heard he has these playing cards that make the video loop. Oh, no! What is this thing? Huh? Is this like a...
So I filmed a several items video in a similar format to the early ones, but because I was doing the VO after the fact, I could just inject surreal humor into it while the footage remains the same. It performed okay. I got 125,000 views, but this style of video was so fun that I had it all culminate into the final video I did in this style.
Here are some plastic circles from 1996. This thing was never opened. It still has the original seal on it. It's time to do the peely and peel the peel off. If only it were a 30-year money-back guarantee. Let's free the plastic circles from their cardboard prison. We got George of the Jungle, the Ant Bully, and Toy Store. The manual politely requests that I use Windows 98. What are you doing here? Fine, you can help, but I'm not gonna be happy about it. I inserted the plastic circle into the plastic circle hole. I was jumping up and down and blasting farts like a whoopee cushion while waiting for the loading bar to fill up. Kind of awkward, no joystick driver found, hee hee. I am literally going to make brownies if I don't put this in full screen right now. Look out, you're gonna hit the logo! Oh. So you play as a cowboy in a toy store. But yeah, basically this game is old and sucks. This does not keep with today's standards. The graphics, they leave much to be desired. The gameplay, average at best. And don't even get me started on the soundtrack. I give Toy Store a 1 out of 5. Did that computer just start talking? Shut up, idiot! Die!
So this video had me crying laughing while I was editing it. TikTok people tend to like the several layers of irony, kind of esoteric humor, and it seemed like it tracked for the most part. Most people were in on the joke, and that made me happy. It was really nice. But a lot of people seemed to not get the joke I made when I showed each CD and intentionally said the wrong names, and that made me not happy.
The Ant Bully.
Dude, that's not the Ant Bully. That's Bug's Life. Did anyone notice that he said George of the Jungle instead of Tarzan? Yes, that was the joke. I thought it was funny. I swear, people on the internet just like to dodge my jokes like they're a Matrix bullet. So this next TikTok was another experiment to see if posing a question without an answer would bring up engagement.
What is this thing? I'm genuinely asking you to help me solve this mystery because I don't know what this is. Because the traces and solder joints are so large, this was almost certainly made by hand. To what end? I don't know. It's got a big red LCD and some ICs on the board. When you flip it over, you can see the quick wire connectors on the back, most likely for power and I/O. And here's another handmade PCB that came with it. And that PCB has a wiring harness coming out of it. I assume they go into the quick connectors, I don't know. And there's yet another PCB with yet another wiring harness. Once again, I don't know what for. Maybe this is like a prop for a movie? Like they were trying to make a visually arbitrary electronic device so that the main character could defuse a bomb or something. But yeah, I'm genuinely stumped. Engineers of TikTok, please leave your comments to tell me what the hell this thing is.
So I wanted to see if people would try to figure out what the thing is because I actually didn't know, but instead a few people made some jokes and the TikTok died at 60K views, go figure. I essentially just handed the commenters a chore to do. Of course they didn't do it. So the next one is the culmination of everything I had learned so far and would be my first viral TikTok. Enjoy.
Welcome to Cube World. This was definitely one of my most wanted toys of 2005. It's a little stick man. What does he do? Well, I'll show you. You can tip him all around and he obeys gravity. Usually stick men wouldn't concern themselves with such things, but this one sure does. He even got so dizzy that he barfed on the floor. But that's not all. The real fun begins when you click a couple of them together, and then they will interact and hang out. One of them will go to the other one's house and then do whatever this is. I don't know what he's doing. You can add even more cubes to increase the amount of antics. Look, they're throwing hands down there. Somebody better stop them before someone gets hurt. Everyone I knew that had Cube World had like a million of them because you could link all of them together. And it's just this cacophony of noise and visuals and there's so much stuff going on. It's like an ADHD child's dream. And I definitely did dream about these. I really wanted this toy. I also have these really big cubes that you can attach to the cube matrix, but unfortunately these have suffered major corrosion damage, so they don't work anymore. It's a huge shame. I would have loved to show these off. Cube World has so much personality with its animations and everything. I love this toy. I think it's great. Thanks for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you in the next one.
It has one topic that's interesting and funny, and the excitement builds as more cube worlds get added to the matrix. I brought up the big cube worlds that don't work, and I knew people would leave comments telling me how to fix them. This video has 6.2 million views. I'm not even surprised. I knew it would check all the boxes when I uploaded it, and I was right. There were literally so many comments about people telling me how to fix the cube worlds that I made a video fixing them, which I will show you now.
A ton of you asked me to fix my corroded cube worlds. Your wish is my command. A lot of you are being super helpful in the comments and I appreciate it, but I'm already very familiar with the process of dealing with corrosion. I release a TikTok every single day, so it's not that I don't know how, it's just that I didn't have time. Anyway, let's get to fixing these things. So the first thing we have to do is open it up and see if the PCB is corroded. It looks pristine. I don't see any corrosion at all in here. And that's a really good thing because it means that the only thing that's corroded is the battery compartment. So I can close it back up and work on it externally. I used a wet paper towel to clean up a lot of the dry battery leakage. Then I put some alcohol and a Q-tip to scrub the battery contact points. And then I went over it with a dry towel to get rid of the alcohol. So let's throw some batteries in and see if that worked. Nope, still dead as a doornail. Won't do a thing. I gave it the old 1-2 reset. Still nothing. The correct answer is for me to soak the battery compartment parts to dissolve the corrosion, but I don't want to wait that long, so we're busting out the soldering iron. Basically, I'm using the iron to melt a ball of solder directly onto the battery contact. And yeah, that totally worked. This thing has been brought back from the dead. We'll take a look at this guy in just a minute, but we have one more that we have to fix. Put some batteries into it, nothing. Nada. Alcohol on a Q-tip and scrubbing the contacts. Conveniently, the corrosion on this one wasn't anywhere near as bad as the previous one, but that 3 minutes of scrubbing was enough to bring this guy back to life. These big cube worlds do a really good job of being big cube worlds. They are very annoying. The sound effects are so loud on these. I'm lowering the audio in post, but these are really loud. They fill the room. The high resolution screen makes a huge difference. This thing just looks awesome. Now they're all living in the same apartment complex together. Here they are. Thank you so much for all the love you guys have given me over the past few days. I'm thankful that I get to entertain and make you guys laugh, and seeing you guys bounce that energy back at me with your comments has been awesome. Also, I got a ton of comments of people asking what happens when you remove a cube while someone's visiting. So here's what happens. They both get Thanos snapped and turned to dust, and then the dust flies around for a while, and then they reform in their respective cubes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
So immediately after the Cube World video, I got to work on my next one where I attempted to capture a similar vibe.
In the prehistoric year of 2010, humans used the ancient form of currency known as silly bands. Children would wear them on their wrist as a status symbol. The more restricted your blood flow was to your hand, the cooler you were. No, but actually, it was a real problem back then. But they're colorful and they're fun, and they come in a million different shapes, such as cat, music, seahorse, banana peel, woman, terrier. Ooh. I assume it's a bone. Electric guitar and a sheriff's star and a football goal that's upside down. That one's a duck. He go quank. I don't know. I don't know that one. Silly bands are so good because it's like, sometimes it'll be like, that's a star. And then other times it's like, your guess is as good as mine. Rotate it all around. I don't know what this is. I don't know about you guys, but my favorite silly band shapes are the huh and the What, you guys don't want the silly band that's shaped like a... Well, fine, there's more for me then. I'm gonna need every silly band I can get if I'm gonna be the coolest kid on the playground. No, but actually, if you want me to open more of these, let me know. Thanks for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you in the next one.
This video got 4 million views. It went so viral that silly bands themselves reached out to me and sent me a box in the mail. So of course I made a video about that too.
Silly bands sent me a box in the mail. This was a gift. I'm not being sponsored. Assorted heart-themed pack, SpongeBob pack, and a assorted shiny pack. Looking at that makes my brain sparkle. There's 2 sets of rock bands and a Yo Gabba Gabba pack. And they included an entire bucket of more. Angry Birds, Marvel superheroes, and these sanitizer bracelets. I've never heard of or seen these before. This looks like a rock bands pack, but there's only 3 bands in there. Breast cancer awareness bracelet. Troy Lee silly bands, so they're motorcycle themed. Dinosaurs, sea creatures, and zoo. Pet bands, and then another assorted set in a cool bag. And then there's a rad bands in youth size. Probably won't fit on me. Thank you, silly bands, for sending me a box that is so gloriously 2010. So let's open up one of the assorted packs and try to guess what they are. Oh, look, it is a sleeping wormulus. Oh, wait, no, that's just the letter G. It took me a second, but this is SpongeBob. Oh, this is a baseballman about to throw a pitch. This one is a paw bean, and this one is a gecko. But these ones are absolute mysteries, and you guys are just gonna have to guess them because I don't know. My collection has grown much larger thanks to silly bands themselves. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. This lake ain't big enough for the 2 of us.
This video performed poorly, but that's fair. It's a response to another video I made. It makes sense. But yeah, the next TikTok I made, I really thought it was a filler video that wasn't gonna go anywhere, and yet it also went viral, so here it is.
This is the most absurd controller design I have ever seen. It has an enormous arcade-style joystick and a paw-shaped configuration of buttons. If you flip the controller over, it has this switch, which allows you to move the joystick to the other side. I love to see the Southpaw inclusivity. And here's the console in question. It's a vtech vsmile. It's a kid's video game machine from 2004, and I have it loaded up with the best game based on the best movie, Shrek the Third. Except this is actually Shrek and Donkey's Pro Shrekboarder. I've been waiting my entire life to see Shrek get on a skateboard and shred. If Shrek the Third had a skateboarding-focused plot, I think that movie would actually be a lot more enjoyable. I also have another vsmile controller that has like a little writing pad built into it, but I don't have the matching game for it, so I don't have a way to show you how it works. But yeah, thanks for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you in the next one.
3.5 million views? What is happening? I greatly underestimated just how recognizable the vsmile was. I thought no one had ever heard of this thing, and I was wrong. I was just wrong. Everyone knows what this thing is somehow. A ton of people in the comments thought I was being mean to the vsmile, but I wasn't. I think it's awesome. I'm really genuinely not sure why so many people were commenting, you know, like half ironically, right? But they were like, no, don't be mean to it. Stop being mean to it. I don't know what I said that implied that I was being mean to it or even disliked it. I said that it was absurd. But it is absurd, it's super quirky. Look at this thing, this is a weird controller. Do people think absurd is an insult? It isn't. And this person even went so far to scream their lungs out at me about it.
Controller design I have ever seen.
Be nice!
I left a comment that they were cool about it. You know, much love. Anyway, let's look at the Sonic Toaster.
Back in 2018, I really honestly thought the Sonic Toaster was a joke. The concept of a machine that burns Sonic's face into your bread was so insanely stupid that I didn't think it was real. I put money down on their crowdfund, not expecting anything, but they called my bluff and actually made it a real product. So I put some delicious Martin's butter bread in there, and we're gonna see what happens. Will you guys believe me if I told you that this is the only toaster I have ever owned? That's why it looks visibly used, is because I've used it hundreds of times. Anyway, our toast is done. Let's take a look at it. Ow, it's too hot. Ow, it's hot. Ow, ow, it's still really hot. You can see it, look, there it is. Well, time to have the same breakfast I have every day. Sonic toast with assorted rusty screws. If you can't tell, I'm trying to get into the salty spittoon. Thanks for watching Shelf Shorts, I'll see you in the next one.
So this video did pretty well. It got nearly 300,000 views, you know, I'll take it. I was worried the rusty screws bit wouldn't land, but enough people got the SpongeBob reference that I'd say it tracked. Anyway, yeah, cool. Next video, here it is.
Introducing the worst Dance Dance Revolution thing since Supernova. It's the DDR DVD game. Yeah, we love the DDR DVD game. Thanks, Mom. Well, they seem to like it. Let's see what all the fuss is about. Well, there's the DVD in question. And here are the dance pads, which are paper flat vinyl plastic. Although it does say right on the back that they are only plastic training mats. Why bother developing a video game when you can just have kids use their imaginations? You might as well open a YouTube video of someone else playing DDR and pretend you're playing it yourself. Of course, I have a real DDR soft pad right here for us to compare against. The training mat doesn't even work well as a training mat because it is noticeably smaller. This product is so bizarre and so specific. The fact that it exists at all is baffling to me. I have tons and tons more DDR stuff if you guys are interested in seeing it, but for now, thanks for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you in the next one.
If you guys really want to know why Supernova was the worst, let me know, because there is so much lore behind that, it could justify an entire 30, 45 minute, 1 hour YouTube video on its own. Aside from that, one of the music producers for DDR saw that TikTok and left a comment, and that was pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, here's the next video.
This 2006 laptop was designed to teach kids in developing nations how to code. They were rugged and cheap, and you could charge them with a solar panel. Every time you would buy one, they would gift one to a kid in Africa. The initiative was called One Laptop Per Child, and you may have heard of them from the TV ads they did 15 years ago. Although the initiative was heavily criticized at the time and in retrospect, they did produce some very interesting hardware. Look at this, you can break its neck and flop it down, and now it's a little tablet, even though it's not a touchscreen. I can't really think of any other laptop that's designed for kids to teach them how to code on Linux. It's really unique. So it earns some points from me just for being weird.
Thank you for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you in the next one.
So this video got like almost 1 million views. It got 900,000 views. I do regret it being so short, but I feel like the reason it got so big is because it was shorter. Like if I went into too much extraneous detail, like it's a laptop, right? It's a Linux laptop. I don't think it would have done as well if I had gone into the detail of what a Linux laptop does. But I kind of liked this niche of talking about weird kids devices, so I kept going with that.
Hey look, it's a leapster, which is essentially an educational Game Boy. It's got a D-pad and buttons and a stylus for the touchscreen. I bet these cartridges were worth their weight in gold when they were new. So let's pop it in and take a look at what it's like. I wasn't expecting these games to be full 3D. They look on par with late era DS games. These controls feel great too. I'm very impressed. For some reason I had it in my head that this thing is from like 2004, but this is a very late model. The Leapster GS Explorer came out in like 2010, so that explains why the games look so good, is because this thing's really late. The reason I bought the Leapster GS Explorer is because the whole thing runs on Linux. So some really smart Linux people figured out how to hack it and make it run emulators, although I never got around to actually doing it. But the Leapster already has a huge feature set on its own. It can play games, read books, download apps, kids can make their own animations, it has a camera and a microphone so kids can make movies. The fact that this thing retailed for $70 is ridiculous. That's just a good deal. I would have been a little too old for it when it released, but the kids that grew up with one of these, they had it real good. Thank you so much for watching Shelf Shorts. I will see you guys in the next one.
So I really thought the Leapster video would go big in the same way the vsmile video did, but I think this thing was too late for most of the TikTok user base to be nostalgic for. It got 65K views, that's not bad, but a lot of the comments said that they had the Leap Pad instead, so I have one. I showed it off next.
Hey, check it out, it's a LeapPad. It's an educational kids tablet that came out around 2010. It's unfortunate that they don't make these anymore because I think this would be a much better option than just giving a kid an iPad and letting them experience the dumpster fire that is the App Store. It has lots of built-in creative apps too, so kids can draw and make movies. All of the cartridges for the Leapster Explorer also work on the LeapPad Explorer. And my immediate thought was, okay, what about buttons? There are some games that require buttons. But yeah, they totally thought of that. You just turn the device sideways, use the D-pad, and then on the right side, there are virtual A and B buttons. Honestly, it works really well. But there are games that are designed for the Leapster's smaller screen. So for games like that, they just kept the screen small and then put a nice border around it. Because the LeapPad came out later, I think the screen looks a lot better than the Leapster's. But later games would have two different screen modes, a smaller one for the Leapster and a larger one for the LeapPad. So this My Little Pony game doesn't have a border, it just runs in full screen. But yeah, the LeapPad is a really, really cool gadget, I dig it. This and the Leapster Explorer have genuinely impressed me. I didn't think they would be quite this good. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching Shelf Shorts. I will see you guys on your For You page again real soon.
If I had sandwiched the Leapster and LeapPad videos together, they wouldn't have reached their full potential. I think that's the biggest takeaway I can give, is like, give each topic its own video, like spread them out. It always seems to pay off for me. This video got nearly double the views as the Leapster one. So now we're going into the final video I made for the month of January.
20Q was everywhere in the early 2000s. It was unavoidable. And for good reason. It's the classic 20 questions game on a fun little device. Sometimes they look like this, sometimes they look like this, and sometimes they even look like this. But I can do you one better. Introducing the 20Q Party Deluxe. I hope you have some C batteries sitting around because there is no power adapter. You have to put C batteries in it. When I was a kid, I used to call these kind of screens holograms, but they're actually called POV displays. Of course, it looks better in real life than it does on camera. That's just the nature of these kind of things. But take my word for it when I say this thing looks great. The idea was that you were supposed to plop the 20Q orb in the middle of the table, and it projects its display on both sides of the orb so everyone in the family can see it. It also has a remote control, so you don't have to rely on the buttons on the thing. So it's time to put this thing to the test. I decided to think of a sea lion, one of those creatures that's just obscure enough that it might fool it. So I did my best to answer the 20 questions as accurately as I could, and when I didn't know the answer, I hit unknown, and it incorrectly guessed walrus. But the game's not over yet. It has 10 more questions, and then it actually got it right. It did guess sea lion, and I was defeated. Yeah, you can gloat all you want. You've earned it. 20Q is a really cool toy, and the Party Deluxe with its cool laser display is just totally sick. Thanks for watching Shelf Shorts. I'll see you in the next one.
I know I showed multiple things in this video, but I think they all perform the exact same function and are just different shapes of the same device. Like, I feel like it's an exception, and I mainly focused on the Party Deluxe anyway. I can't really say how this video performed because I only uploaded it yesterday as of the time of filming. But yeah, that's it. That's all 31 Shelf Shorts videos I made. All in all, this experience has been amazing. I've been surrounded by so much toxicity on YouTube and Discord, and I've distanced myself so much from the internet over the years just because the weight of it all can be so much to bear sometimes. I'd lost contact with the feeling of putting something out there and getting a response that felt tangible. It all just feels like noise at this point. But TikTok has this feature called Stitch, where people can take your video and add their video at the end, sort of like a video reply. Looking through all of the stitches people did made me so happy. Take a look.
This 2006 laptop was designed to teach kids in developing nations how to code.
My God. I never, ever thought I would ever see one of those things ever again. One of the coolest things I ever had the privilege of interacting with.
I bet you've never heard of this Nintendo gadget. It's a Pocket Pikachu.
No, I've still got one here. It works too, but the screen's pretty dim. There's also a second one with a color screen that worked with Pokemon Gold and Silver. Like you'd convert steps into GIFs in the game. I had it way back but lost it running across the street one day to catch a bus.
It's a kid's video game machine from 2004.
That came out in 2004? I remember playing like a Cars game on it. Trippy bit of nostalgia.
Getting to see genuine joy on people's faces as they unearth pleasant memories because of my videos reminded me why I make videos in the first place. That kind of joy is what I want to package up and deliver to people. So thank you, TikTok, for giving me the inspiration to keep making cool stuff. There's a lot coming down the pipeline. I have really big plans for this year, and this is just the beginning of it. So goodbye, Space Cadets. I will see you soon.